Hi, excuse me. Welcome to Hope in the Light of Suicide. I don't know what happened just there. I'm Tammy White. I'm the founder of the Bobby White Foundation, and I'm here with.
Hi, good morning. Bonnie Snyder, your co-host. You get
Yeah.
choked up. It's,
Yeah, that's what it
the,
is.
this is the effect that the show has on us and other people. You get kind of choked
Get
up.
choked up. Plus, it's really cold outside.
It is. There's something wrong here. This is Florida. It's not supposed to be cold.
Well, I was talking to my brother the other day. His birthday was last weekend, and I was telling him, "Oh, it's really cool down here." And he's like, it's going to be -2 degrees here this weekend." I'm like, I don't get any sympathy from him whatsoever.
Oh, I mean, same. With Carl, my oldest. We were chatting, yesterday, and I was like, oh, it's temperature dropped, and it's like it's going to be. What did I see? It's like it was going to be like 40-ish. So it's going to be 47. And he's talking to Joy, his wife, and he goes, "Babe, it's going to be 47 in Florida." And he and I were FaceTime, and I could see her off. I could hear her in the background. Really? And he goes, "Mother, it was like same like 17 or because he looked at me. He goes, "We just got 2 inches of snow," and I was like, "And we did not." You can keep the snow.
Yeah, really.
I don't do cold weather. I'm not a cold weather person.
Well, it's like we moved to Florida. It's supposed to be warm, not cold.
It's the sunshine state.
Right. Well, the sun is shining, but it's just a little chillier. But
Exactly.
we want to thank, of course, our sponsor, Area 52 Media Group. I had to think about that still. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be here. And we want to thank John and our tech guy, Rob, for giving us this platform and being able to come to you guys there pretty much every week. This is actually our 90th episode
Hard to believe.
today.
Hard to believe it's 90.
I know, especially when it took John 10 months to talk me into doing the show to begin with. But yeah, it's great. And we have some really cool upcoming things happening, even though this time of year is kind of a little bit slow time of year, but we have some exciting things. And I was surprised for you. Remember, well, when we did the talk at Our Lady Queen of Peace, and we met Gabriel, the behavioral health therapist from Pepin Academy. I had coffee with him the other day.
Oh, Gabriel's a nice guy.
So he sent me a link to his video, which we'll play here in a minute. But so I had lunch with Gabriel. He's putting together another music video, but he wants to attach on to the end of that a short documentary featuring the foundation, you, me, and him.
Oh, nice.
So he's pulling together the director, the photographer, the camera person, he's pulling all that together, and possibly in just a few weeks, we'll be taping that in March at Pepin Academy. They agreed to let him use one of the classrooms.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I've done some in my other work capacity. I've done some stuff at Pepin.
Yeah, he said that
that's where he knows me.
Yeah,
from.
that's where he knows you from. Was from Pepin.
Pepin.
And of course, our producer John, his wife, is on the board of Pepin Academy also. So and Cage, one of their kids went to Pepin.
Right.
And I was able to go to Cage's graduation. He actually was class president that year, and he gave an awesome speech, and of course, and it was geared towards suicide, and just being there for, their friends even after they were out of school and stuff. It was great. It was really neat. So, he is so excited about this, and I think it's going to be kind of the first of some more continued collaborations. But he sent me the song that he has out now, and we also have a link to his website. But I told him, I said, I'm gonna have him play that song on our show tonight. So Rob, can you cue up his? I think it's the Wake Up Call.
Depression in my life is like I'm dealing with phobia. The conscience in my brain is saying that I'm a soldier. No, I shouldn't quit even if people provoke ya. Depression in my life is like I'm dealing with phobia. The conscience in my brain is saying that I'm a soldier. No, I shouldn't quit even if people provoke ya. People always look my way, always making fun of me, cause I got the same shoes and they ugly on my feet. People know that I be stressed and my mental health is poor. Self-esteem is down, happiness right out the door. Homies catching on, adding notes to my drawer. I'm really at the edge, feeling angry like I'm Thor. I wanna bust a gap and really go hardcore. Nobody understands that being bullied is a war. I'm fighting all these demons one by one, two by two, and they telling me to end it, that nobody care for you. I'm shouting out for help and Mr. G came out the blue, saying, homie, listen up, I'm always here for you. I never felt that love and that's why I didn't shoot. I thank Mr. G for always being real cool. I owe him a huge gift, but instead I hug him too. And I really love that man for helping me push through.
You will never be alone and I always have your back, making sure you're back on track. Yeah, and I always have your back.
Depression in my life is like I'm dealing with phobia. The conscience in my brain is saying that I'm a soldier. No, I shouldn't quit even if people provoke ya. Depression in my life is like I'm dealing with phobia. The conscience in my brain is saying that I'm a soldier. No, I shouldn't quit even if people provoke ya. The conscience in my brain is saying that I'm a soldier. No matter the ups and downs, I promise to jump over. And the bullies running at me, girls laughing at me, teachers picking, choosing favorite students. I'm not happy, I'm alone on the baseline. Nobody likes me, I'm viewed like the water boy. Please treat me nicely, I get made fun of cause I stand. I do movements with my hand and I speak to myself, I take a while to comprehend. And this is what I'm rapping, this constructive criticism. I fix the way you thinking and start reading lyricism. We living in the worst like the stupid communism. And I am the legend fam, loving children with autism, yeah. Depression in my life is like I'm dealing with phobia. The conscience in my brain is saying that I'm a soldier. No, I shouldn't quit even if evil provoke ya. Depression in my life is like I'm dealing with phobia. The conscience in my brain is saying that I'm a soldier. No, I shouldn't quit even if evil provoke ya. GTA, yeah. GTA, yeah. Get bro to learn, yeah. The legend fam, boy. The legend fam now. 988. Suicide and crisis lifeline. 24 hours. Available. Every second counts. Every minute counts. I hope this song helps you to stay positive. Never give up.
Great. So Gabriel is he's one of the behavioral health counselors at Pepin. So I pulled this off his website. Gabriel the Legend originated from a kid that has special needs in a clinic setting where Gabriel volunteered when he was growing up. Gabriel would sing to the child as therapeutic method to relax him when there was so much stress. That one child created the Legend title for Gabriel due to his music. In fact, Gabriel has always been surrounded by young teenagers with special needs. Those teenagers that spent time with Gabriel nicknamed him the Legend because he was the only one out of all the kids in the school that gave them unconditional love. Last but not least, Gabriel held on to the name Gabriel the Legend, and abbreviated it to GTL, which is why many of you have asked, why does Gabriel end his music videos with the same hand gestures? The answer is Gabriel does his name in sign language to always connect with those who aren't able to hear or speak. This kid is 25 years old. He's just amazing.
Like I said, before we went to the video, in my, offset capacity, I've done some stuff at, presentations at, Pepin, where he works at Pepin Academy. And, being in this field, the field of mental health, it is, I know when I was going through school and doing all of my training, one of the things that our professors talked to us about constantly was this, concept or, this need to develop rapport, with the people that you're working for to be able to, connect with them. And, I don't want to say, we didn't get it, so it's like, okay, I understand what you're saying. So that when you're going through school and training, you understand the concept of, rapport and connectiveness and whatnot. When you're actually out, in the, doing the work in the field, it's like, aha, now like I really know what it means, or it takes on a whole nother life, within itself. And, when I think about, special needs kids or a lot of the, children that I work with sometimes are those who are behaviorally challenged. And, when you're able to, connect with them, to reach them in ways that no other people, could reach, it is, I consider it a gift, and at the risk of, sounding narcissistic here, I remember being in, one of our elementary schools here and, looking at, I look at Gabriel and, what he's able to do. It makes me think of this one little boy who, was not social at all. Couldn't get him to talk. Couldn't talk at all. His mom was like, don't know. And, at the end of the school year, and, it's elementary age. At the end of the school year, he, self-confidence was built. He, was a little more open. I didn't think anything of it. I was like, all right, the kid's used to me. He was talking. And I remember, getting an email forwarded to me from my supervisor where it was, I don't know what she did. I don't know what magic she worked on my kid, but he's very much a social butterfly. I want to know what school she's in next year because that's where he's going. And, and I was touched by this. And, so it's like, when you look at, through, our own, personal experiences, and then we run across, when I think about that, when I met Gabriel the first time, I was like, he has the gift. And for me, I look at it, okay, Gabriel's in his 20s.
I think it's 25.
So I'm looking at, okay, so he's a 25-year-old. And for me, I'm like, I have a grandchild who's 25. So I'm looking at this gifted individual who is the same age as one of my grandchildren. Okay, yeah, I said grandchild, 20-year-old grandchild. But seriously, he's, the same age as one of my grandchildren, and he has this gift, this talent. He's an asset to whatever agency, has him.
Yeah, most definitely.
And, a, God-given gift to, the kids that he touches. And again, being, going to that campus and watching how the kids gravitate to him. And, how they, for me, it's like, looking at my own experience of when you touch somebody like that, and later on in life, because like I achieved this success because of this person.
Right.
And to hear his story, this is where I started, and I decided to take it, pay it forward. I'm going to, look at it in terms of paying it forward. I did this, so this. The other thing for me is, as I was listening to this, I'm like, it's rap. I make no bones about it. I'm not a rap fan. I'm not a fan of rap music. However, I push aside the fact that, rap is the only genre of music that I typically don't listen to unless it has a meaning.
Right.
Unless it, I don't want to say it makes sense to me because, even... Yeah, I think it's more the gangster rap that I can't stand. However, when it, has a message, it has a meaning. And I think more so when you're watching, and again, I'm coming at this from a professional standpoint, anything that you can do that motivates the children or it touches them in a way that it um, helps them in their growth. I say do it. And his, like, all right, Gabriel, you got me. I can listen to you only because, you watch how it impacts the kids that he's working with. And, some of the kids, there are, these kids are, development, they have their unique challenges.
Yeah, and they're all different. Well, he shared with me 'cause he comes from a background, and I don't know exactly the timeline, but when they came to the United States, he was like I think maybe by the time he was a freshman in college, in high school, he was able to speak English, but he couldn't speak English, and he was bullied and made fun of because of not being able to speak English, the clothes that he wore, the shoes that he wore, and by the time he was in high school, he was able to speak English fluently. So he had, even as a young kid going through what he went through, has used his experience to make things better for other kids that is his age, or was his age, that have hard times. And really, he's amazing, and he is so excited about this project that he's working on.
Yeah, it speaks to, that, we talk, about it a lot, resiliency, the ability to overcome, dealing with challenges and not letting, if you're going to define yourself by your challenges, defining them in a positive way. I was bullied, but I overcame. I didn't speak English, as a, middle schooler, but I overcame that. And again, when you look at him, it's like, the challenges that, he's had to overcome, and look at where he is now and the difference that he makes, for the students that he works with.
Oh, he's definitely making a difference with these kids at this school. And I'm excited for him. He's just a great kid. So that's going to be exciting. And like I said, I think he's looking for us like taping in March, around the 13th or something. So March is going to be kind of busy too, because we also have we're putting together that boat trip with Freedom Boat. I think it's Freedom Boat Club. So I think that's going to be Freedom Boat Club of Tampa Bay. That's going to be probably towards the end of March, and it'll be a weekday. We're still trying to get the date and so that we can start getting flyers out and start inviting people and getting out the release forms and stuff to get out to people.
I just hope I'm up and walking then.
Oh, that's right. Well, when is your surgery?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. We're sharing, off camera that, it looks like this little boo-boo I have is going to require surgery. I saw the ortho doctor yesterday, as a matter of fact, and, we're, looking at the MRI and whatnot, and she's showing me, there's the problem right there. I'm like, all right. So no, it's from what
Well, we're going to be on a pontoon boat. You'll just probably be on crutches.
I more likely will be on crutches. Yeah, this it was so funny, when you look at the things you go to, and she says, someone's going to call you, we have to turn this in to get the authorization to do the surgery. And I was like, okay, it's fine. And it's a work issue, so it was a freakish accident at work. I think none of us saw it, on my butt. But anyway, she said, because of your age.
I love that one. Right?
Of course, you got to do the pre-op stuff and whatnot. I'm looking at her because of my age, huh? And then, there's some other health things, some other, my health history. We have to do, some pre-op stuff first. But, yeah, general anesthesia, I'll be asleep when they do it.
I'd have to be asleep any time they touch me. Forget that.
Yeah. So
But-
I looked at her and said, "Can you explain what you're doing to me?" And she's like, "Yeah." And then, of course, I'm like, "Are you the one that's going to be doing the surgery?" She goes, "Oh, yeah, be me." And, she couldn't put me at ease. She goes, "Oh, this is, it's a common surgery." I was like, "Oh, I just kind of like to know. Somebody's going to be cutting
Yeah.
on me. I want to know who's,
Yeah,
who's doing the
really.
surgery." So yeah, I was impressed with her. So yeah, let's just hope by, it is, the surgery, and I think from what she said, I'll be down or after the surgery is probably like a week and a half of recovery time, and then another, couple of months of, rehab.
Rehab is
Re-strengthening. That's the rehab is.
horrible. Yeah, rehab's a horrible part. Well, we're going to be able to have 27 people on this trip. So I'm excited about that. And actually, too, I talked to Gabriel about that, maybe in seeing if he's going to talk to the principal at Pepin and any of the kids that possibly could maybe go on this trip that have been affected by suicide also. Hopefully we'll be able to join us so we can incorporate some of that in there. And he was excited about that too. So, we're getting those things moving forward. That's in March. Oh, yeah, we're not even in February yet, but almost. But in February, I think on February 21st, it's a Tuesday night at the Slice of Life Pizza, same shopping center where Oasis is. Reuters is having a mixer fundraiser for the foundation. So Gabriel said he's going to try and be there. It's always a lot of fun. Reuters every month has a mixer and picks a nonprofit in the community to raise money for that evening. Jim Murdoch, he runs that. He's quite the character, but it's good. They did one for us last summer, and so again, that's going to be at the Slice of Life Pizza on Embassy and Little. Yeah.
What's interesting about the Slice of Life Pizza? My supervisor and I were out to lunch with a friend of ours, Peter. We were with Peter.
Mm-hmm.
And, we were talking about, the local restaurants and whatnot,
Right.
where, our ads are up at right now. And I didn't know until that lunch that my current daytime supervisor, she and her husband owned and started that Slice of Life Pizza.
Oh, really?
Yes, and I looked at her and I was like, really? I know that restaurant. And she was like, yeah, they were the original owners of that pizza place. And, they sold it. They don't have something else he does that. I mean, still kind of sort of like the restaurant business, or still involved with the restaurant business, but not in that capacity. And like I said, when she told me, and I looked at her, so it's interesting when you're saying slice of life. I was like, wow, how things go full circle.
Well, it's really kind of funny because that place has been a pizza place like for a million years. And when Bobby and I first moved here, it was a really good independent pizza place. And the guy who owned it at the time, and this is really kind of funny too, that I think his name was Bob. Well, he eventually got in trouble for trying to hire somebody to kill his wife. So then one of his employees took it over for a little while, and then that didn't work, and then it ended up going to Slice of Life. And now the guy who owns it now as Slice of Life, his name is Bob. And I think him and his wife actually live back in our neighborhood. And he's very, very community supportive. They're the ones, they donated, or that's where we got, I don't know if they donated some of them, but the pizzas when we did our Painting with a Purpose, that's where we got the pizzas from for there. And they're really super nice and very accommodating when we have these mixers at that place. pretty much almost take over the whole place for a few hours, and but it but it's good. There's pizza and salad and hors d'oeuvres and stuff. So and we have raffle stuff off and do things like that. So it is a lot of fun. But yeah, there's quite a history for that pizza place. But it's a really good pizza place here. So really really glad about that. So that's going to be February 21st. So we're excited about that. We were going to do it like in March or April, but then they moved it up to February, and they go, "Do you want to do it?" And I'm like, "I'm not going to say no. Of course we want to do it." Getting back into being out there. The beginning of the year, of course, has been hard. So it's just getting back out into the routine of things. And
Well, I think too, when I look at, it's hard to believe, January's almost over. It's like,
I know.
I feel like I literally just took down my Christmas tree and January's already over.
I literally did just take down my Christmas tree yesterday.
So, but I mean, I sit back and I look at, here we into the new year is like January is almost over. We're heading into February, and I'm looking at, of course, for me, we're coming up on Valentine's Day, but we're also just a couple of months away from spring, and I'm looking at January is like that's the new year. I see spring as new beginnings. Where are we going to go from here? What is this? What's the new growth going to look like?
Yeah, I look at that too. But too, spring is actually when we have the highest rate of suicides.
Yeah.
And that's always it's usually that's like my favorite time of year because winter I'm not really good at. The yard looks crappy, and it's cold, so I can't go out and do anything out there now. And spring is like everything's coming back and coming alive, and of course, that's when Bobby took his life. And I remember those days afterwards, and it was just it was just kind of surreal how blue the sky was. There were, no clouds, just this intense blue. And he had the most gorgeous blue eyes. And I just look up at that sky and I'm just like, how? And it was like the best time of year for him too, for working, because he was a land surveyor. And he loved being outside, and it was nice out, before the horrible hot summer that you had to get through. And yeah, it's crazy, but I had a lot of cleanup after winter for springtime around the place. But it's all going to be good.
I look at it as, you have, the increased concern, about mental health and suicide around the holidays, because those are very depressing times for, some people. For their various reasons. And then it's like, okay, I made it through the holidays, and now here comes spring. And, for some people, it is, new beginning, let me start all over again. And for some people, I don't want to start all over again. I look forward, to spring and instilling a sense of, all right, guys, you've gotten through. It's almost like you've gotten through the worst of it. Winter, we think, most people, when they think of winter, they don't think of, I should say, not everybody. If I put it into this context, winter, it's cold. It's nobody wants to be outside,
Except for the skiers and snowboarders.
Right. But I mean, even when you put that, it's like, I'm a skier and a snowboarder, but while I'm out there enjoying skiing and snowboarding, I'm also cognizant of the fact that I've got to be bundled up. I don't want to get frostbite, and, heaven forbid if I ski off the side of this hill. I've been skiing once up in Pennsylvania. It's like one and only time I was ever on skis, and I was like, I remember
my neighbor's grandson, they have a place, I can't remember where it's at in Colorado. They live in Denver. And so they've been going up, the family, there's 2 boys and the mom and dad, so they've been going up to their condo, snowboarding. And they're, very active with the kids and everything. And Liam and one of his friends were up at the top of the mountain or whatever, and getting ready to come down. And he was so upset. An adult guy just came and plowed him. I mean, just plowed him. Broke his clavicle, and he's diabetic, so he has this patch thing. Knocked that thing off of him, and the guy was just like, Liam was just so mad. He's like, just get away from me. I can't believe you did that. So him and his buddy had to ski all the way down the hill, him hurt. And his dad, my neighbor, was like, well, it's probably a good thing that his dad wasn't there, because his dad probably would have killed him. Justin would have ended up in jail, instead of just poor Liam. Now he no more snowboarding for the winter time. He's probably not going to be able to do soccer in the spring. It's just because an adult was careless, and then just knocked the crap out of him.
Well, and again, going back to, planting seeds of renewal. We talked about, as several of our books, that common theme of what does new normal look like? Life after loss. And I remember doing a talk with somebody that it was recovery after a loss, life after grief. I think I forget some catchy phrase, title I gave it. It's like my title. I can't even think of what I called it. But in that particular presentation, I do talk about picking yourself up. It's much like people who are like my ex-in-laws. That my ex-husband, Pat and Carl's dad, is a farmer. And when I look at that from a farmer's perspective, and again, as much as he infuriated me, after when I called him and told him that we'd lost Pat, but I looked at it in terms of using farming as a metaphor for what was going on. Excuse me. And it was, a farmer, plants his crops, at the, if I go, the end of harvest, harvest is coming, you gather up everything, winter comes, ground is, covered, you can't do anything with it, and the ground is just sitting there, frozen under, under the snow and everything, waiting for the next season. And then all of a sudden, now here it is spring. And what happens? The ground softens, you plow it, you plant new seeds, here's a new crop. And I look at, the message that, we hope we're conveying here on the show, and attach it to, messages, those of us who, deal with people, on a professional basis, grief and loss and tragedy and trauma and all those other things that people in my field deal with. And it is just think about this: the ground was cold and covered with snow, and you couldn't do anything with it, or you didn't think you can do anything with it, and you kind of wanted to give up, but now things are thawing. Let's go forward. That's how I like to look at spring.
That's a good way to look at it. I've been looking at it in a little bit different way. Is like, okay, we have the new year, for us, January 1st. But just last week was the Chinese New Year, which was also the new moon, and that is another. you can reset. You know, we have a new moon, every month. You can reset every month. And you get that energy from the new moon as it grows into the full moon. The energy is different, and you can use that energy to change, to grow, to help you get through what you're going through. And I've been using that, I mean, a lot lately because of the losing my mom recently, because, you know, like last year was my year to really work on myself, to, you know, to get, okay, this is the life, this is it, let's make the best of it, you know, because of dealing with my husband's death and life being so life altering. And then all of a sudden at the end of that year, my mom suddenly dies. And it's like, that is another huge life altering experience, is your life's not ever going to be that way ever again. You're never going to be able to call her again. You're never, you know, you can't do this, you can't do that. And okay, what is this new life going to be look like again moving forward? Make, you know, do the positive things. Try not to try to look at the positive things, because even like when you go from the full moon back when it's waning or waxing, what the opposite, let go of those things, let go of those feelings, so that you can release them, and then you get the new moon again, and then let's put that energy into the positive.
You know, and I like that. I think, you know, or I shouldn't think, I feel, I mean, I do think, but
Oh, that's a good thing.
was when I engage my brain. No, seriously. You know, I feel that whatever works for you in terms of, you know, what analogy you use to as your reset button, whether it is new month, new moon, whether you do the reset over the seasons, whether you look at your life as, you know, and again, if I think of what happens in the, you know, again, going back to the seasons for a minute, what happens in the spring, what happens in the summer, what happens in the fall, what happens in the winter, then we start all over again with the spring again, where, you know, things are, or whether it is, okay, let me do it on, you know, shorter snippets of, you know, we get a full moon, you know, or reset every month with wherever the full moons, or whether it is, you know what, I'm going to hit a reset every Sunday, or, you know, whatever day you consider the first of the week, or, you know what, my reset button happens.
You could do it every morning.
You just took the words out of my mouth. My reset button happens every morning when I get up, you know. And for me, I think I do it more on a, for the most part, I'm going to say a day by day thing. All right, new day. You know, because I find myself saying, well, this is what I did do yesterday. Let me reset and just, you know, start all over. Yeah, maybe today will be better than yesterday, or maybe today will be as, you know, I'm fortunate that there are times that I can say, let me make today better than it was yesterday. Even though yesterday was a really good day. Like, how can I top? You know, because when I say, let me make today better than yesterday, I think some people, you know, instinctually go to that. Oh, yesterday must have been a crappy day for you. And I was like, oh, no, yesterday was amazing. You know, so I do find myself, okay, you know what, yesterday was a really good day. Let me make today as good or better. How can I improve on that? You know, and I think about, I do a lot of work with people in recovery. And, you know, their motto is, you know, one day at a time, one day at a time. And so I think this is where, you know, because a part of me is like, I'm so used to, you know, the people that I work with, operating on that one day at a time. I've also found too, depending on the situation, it is minute by minute. Like, you know, if I use this as an example, okay, you know what? 9 o'clock or, you know, 5 o'clock when I got up this morning, all right, it's going to take me a minute to climb out of bed, and yeah, let this pop and click and do whatever it's going to do, and then, okay, I can up and go, yeah, I can up and do it. And I sit down for a while, and it's like, all right, you know, let me see if I can, you know, let me look what's going to happen the next hour. Okay, it's got to do its little pop and click and thing before I get up again. Or, yeah, my neighbor, his little dog, love this dog. It's my dog. He just lives at the neighbor's house. That's kind of what I tell people. but it's like, he jumps over my foot. When he did, he pushed me, foot this way, and I was like, all right, give me a second. So yeah, I mean, and as we look at, using that as example, there are times where, whatever we're going through, it happens just like that. All right, give me a minute. I get through the next minute. So again, however you reset or choose to reset.
Yeah,
It's personal. What works for you works for you.
for you, exactly. Well, and it goes back to the same thing. Your grief is your grief, and the way that you go through it is the way you go through it, not the way somebody else has to go through it, or you have to go through it the same way somebody else does. It's yours. It's yours to own, and it's yours to figure out which is going to be the best way forward for you. And hopefully it's in a positive manner. Granted, it's not always going to be that way, but hopefully as time goes on, it gets to be more and more that way, little by little.
I think, and again, whenever, I'm facilitating a group, or, those rare times that I, work with people one-on-one, but I tell people I use a lot of, metaphors and, what may sound nonsensical to other people as I'm, trying to help someone develop a strategy to deal with whatever it is that they're dealing with. But I look at it in terms of equating it to, or attaching it, I like attaching it to something nonsensical, because then it's like, oh, it makes it that much easier to deal with, or it makes sense now. And I had a thought in my head. It's like, where was I going with this? It happens.
Well, okay,
thinking.
I'll use it this way. On the foundation Facebook page, the profile picture is a picture of Bobby and our cat Jack, who I lost Jack just before my birthday in August, and he was. I mean, look at that. He was Bobby's
I've
cat.
met Jack. I've met Jack. Jack was a sweetheart. He was.
Jack was an officer. Well, this is now Leroy, and it's been 5 months since we lost Jack. And the other day, Friday, family up the street said that they had a cat that they needed to rehome, and I have 3 cats, so. And they're all indoor. Jack was indoor, outdoor, and that it's always not a good thing. He was always really good though, and he very rarely crossed the street. But coming back home that one time, that was the last. But anyway, so I messaged them, and I was like, oh yeah, it's a black cat, and so I said, if anybody else wants him, give them first dibs. She wanted me to come get him right away, and I was like, my truck is still at the mechanics. And so she said that they would bring him to me Saturday morning, and I'm like, okay. So I'm like, oh boy, here we go. He's 6 months old, and so they did. They brought him down Saturday morning with some litter and some food and stuff. He's a sweetheart. But it's like, and I forget, because when we had Jack, when we got the twins, Felix and Oscar, Jack was mad. I mean, really mad. And I have a picture. I'll have to get it one time. He's like sitting on the counter with his paws underneath him like this, and his chin protruded, so he always looked mad. And his chin was just sticking out way more than normal. And he even broke out of the house twice. I had to get him at night. But the twins, they gave Leroy a little bit of a hard time, but it's been 5-6 days. So we were like at day 4, and they're not giving him a hard time anymore. I have pictures that now they'll kind of sometimes sleep close together. So Max, he just kind of ignores him. It was no big deal for him, but the twins had a harder time. And but everybody's getting along now, and we got a little Black Panther back in our home again.
That's sweet.
So he's a sweetheart, and I want to thank our neighbors for. It was just because I was kind of concerned. I was like, well, why are now you're having to rehome this cat? But I guess her daughters have some dogs, and the dogs weren't having it. And I'm the only one. Like, there's 4 of us around. Our neighbors. They all have dogs, and I'm the one with the cats. I'm like, well, I don't need to have a dog because I've got 2 dogs over here. I got a dog across the street, and I got a dog over here. In which I'm duck and dog sitting again this weekend.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, I used to have a virtual zoo in my house. At one point, I had 2 dogs, 2 cats, and I had 8 birds, 13 fish, 2 gerbils, a rabbit. I'm sure I'm leaving something out. Yeah, that is zoo in my house.
Oh,
And a ferret. How could I leave out my
a
ferret,
ferret.
my Max?
yeah, birds are a lot. Well, we got the fish tanks, and of course we got the 6 chickens. But originally, the idea was supposed to be for Leroy, which never happened, was because Jack being gone, so we don't have an outdoor cat to take care of the critters that we don't want, the mice and the rats. So originally the idea was we were going to get this cat, and I seen where you can, how to get them used to their new home without running away back to their old home. So I called a friend of ours, or I texted her, and she had a big dog cage where I could make a mini house for him with a little covered area and a litter box and a blanket and everything, and put it out in the shop out back. But as soon as they handed me him, I was like, I can't put him outside. Of course, it was chilly then too. So I was like, and the one daughter, she was like, oh, he slept with me last night. I'm like, really? I said, because the boys, they're being ornery. They haven't been sleeping with me lately. So needless to say, his original job is still available. Because now he's just one of the other boys. But he is cute.
I had a cat. I miss the cat that I had. But yeah, I've gotten out of being a pet mom, for a baby mom, some time ago. I've said it before. If I knew then what I knew now, I would still have the cat that I had. I would have started out. It was supposed to be a cat sitting thing. To all of a sudden, it's like, is this cat ever going home? Because it ceremoniously became my cat, to Pat saying, well, I want you to have I brought the cat home so you wouldn't be lonely if I left, or something like that. And I was like, I'm not worried about being lonely. And then, of course, a few months later, Pat was gone. And I was like, I should have said, no, I will definitely keep the cat. But
yeah, with Jack and I went through the grieving process with Bobby together. I mean, Jack was so in tune to Bobby. It was something else. And I could see him getting better as I was getting better. And yeah, and then all of a sudden it's like, then I have a conversation with Bobby. You didn't need him quite yet. I still needed him down here.
right.
I wasn't real happy with that different transition, but I guess it was time for him to go see Bobby.
Time for him to go, yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, so that's been the exciting stuff for this week, getting this new cat. It's always, you always have the happy feelings, but then you have the sad feelings of losing the other animal. But when you see the others starting to get along, not pounding on the poor guy, then it's all worth it. But so anyways, I mean, there's going to be a lot coming up, and one thing too is hopefully with this fundraiser we're going to be able to, we need to update our purple folders. It'll be our 3rd revision. We have all the information to the printers right now, so it's just coming up with the rest of the funds to get them done and revised so we can get them out to our community partners that have them, and of course we have them. And we do still have some of these shirts at the foundation office. Not a lot, but some. So, anything like that helps. And to remember in February, and I should have looked at the date and I totally forgot. February, smile.amazon.com comes to an end. So if you have anything to order, get those orders in through Amazon, and at least until, I think it's February 2nd or February 8th, something like that before.
So it's right around the corner.
Yeah, it's really close.
Yeah, I shouldn't say, I'm not going to say it's the last of my Amazon ordering, but, the last of my Amazon Smile. And I think I can understand why it would,
I couldn't imagine the logistics of doing what they're doing with so many nonprofits. It's just so, I'm sure they just needed to streamline things. And unfortunately, the smaller nonprofits are going to get squeezed out, but it's going to allow them to do bigger
well,
projects.
you sit back and think about it. Amazon's owner is in the space business, and we're getting ready to go to Mars, and I guess he has to make sure that he has. And I'm not going to. This is not a dig on Bezos or Amazon or anything else like that. Just let me make sure I put that. It's sad that the program has to end, but at the same time, I think it's vitally, immensely important that, we do recognize and give him credit for having the program up anyway, considering the fact that it was not like some places you go do the roundup and, whatever you're rounding up to, that's going to go to
right.
whatever, that particular, and it's that, that donate, or where you're donating it to that particular organization, where his was you pick, and I'm going to take a percentage and send it to that nonprofit.
Right.
So.
No, and it's it's good. It's basically it's going to allow them to help in a bigger way, more concentrated, and instead of us little guys. But maybe we'll get in there sometime.
You never know.
You never know. I mean, but you can still always, you can do the birthday fundraisers on Facebook.
Direct donation.
Direct donation, and numerous ways you can direct donate. Either, I think you can even do that on Facebook, our website. Send a check to the foundation. There's numerous ways you can help. One of our counselors asked what it costs for those folders to be done. So this kind of gives it a little bit more perspective for people donating. It costs us about $5 a folder to put together. So that kind of gives you a little bit of perspective. So if you donate $25, we can put together 5 folders.
That's 5 folders.
So, and that's it's important, and it's not just for Pasco County. We have sent these folders all across the country. So, don't forget to put the hotline numbers in your phone, please. Have this available. The new 988 number is a call text number. You just never know. And if you are with somebody or come across somebody that is in really bad distress, take them to the emergency room.
And we'll talk about, there were some statistics that came up that I became aware of last week regarding the 988, what's happened since
then.
And I think that's, something good for us. We'll talk about it, the next show. But yes, put the numbers in.
Yeah, it's important. And I'm hoping that the statistics for the state of Florida have come out soon. I got an email, but I haven't had a chance to look at it yet. but it's just vitally important. You don't know. You don't know when you're going to be that one person that could save that one person. So I got the happy quote for today. The only person who has to believe in you is you.
True that.
You know, I was watching this, not really watching it, but had it on in the background. It's Dr. Phil's show, and it had women our age on there complaining about being their age and people not paying attention to them. I'm like, why are you living for them? This is your life. You're the only one that has to believe.
I tell people all the time, it's okay to be selfish.
Yeah.
You know, it's all about me. And you know, while you're wondering and saying that it's all about you, just remember,
There's always hope. There.